We present a simulation method for high-resolution adaptive fluid dynamics with a focus on smoke simulation. The objective of our system is to offer the visual detail of adaptive discretizations while remaining as close as possible to the performance potential of uniform grids. We complement this with a multigrid solver to improve convergence and support dynamic topology. We present three main contributions. First, SPGrid, a novel data structure for sparsely populated large uniform grids. Next, a reformulation of tree-based adaptive discretizations using a pyramid of SPGrids. And finally, a multigrid preconditioned Krylov solver. Our solution relies on replacing typical tree-based adaptive data structures with a pyramid of sparsely populated Cartesian grids. Our first contribution is SPGrid, or sparse paged grid, which can be used to efficiently store and manipulate sparse volumetric datasets. SPGrid's principal operation is to reserve a virtual memory span for an entire array, but only create physical pages for its sparse used subset. SPGrid uses a specific locality-preserving traversal, where the domain is partitioned into blocks. Cells within the blocks are ordered lexicographically, and entire blocks are traversed according to a Morton ordering. We show how flattened memory offsets can be computed by performing bit multiplexing operations on the geometric coordinates. In the paper, we show how this can be done with minimal cost. Using SPGrid as a building block, we replace the tree-based representation of adaptive topologies with a pyramid of sparsely populated uniform grids, as shown here. Typical computations during fluid simulation include the discrete divergence, gradient, and Laplacian. Consider the adaptive discretization shown here, our proposed framework, and a traditional tree-based representation. Consider a Laplacian evaluation on the highlighted cell. This requires accessing values from its neighboring cells. In the pointer-based representation, this entails extensively searching the tree for neighbors, demonstrated by orange arrows on the right. Our solution avoids indirection and lookups by introducing a new topological entity, ghost cells, shown on the left as hollow green circles. Ghost cells allow communication of values across levels of resolution via simple transfer operations, shown with blue arrows on the left. Furthermore, because we usually compute stencils everywhere, we can compose simple uniform grid and transfer operations to efficiently process stencils in bulk, even when modeling non-graded octrees. Next, we present an adaptive multigrid preconditioned Krylov solver used for pressure projection. Conceptually, our multigrid scheme consists of a hierarchy of octrees, as shown on the left. Note that some new cells have been introduced here, shown in yellow, the result from a refinement process, and also that the depth of the multigrid hierarchy does not need to match the depth of the original octree. We show how a multigrid V-cycle can be constructed as a hierarchy of sparse uniform grids, as seen on the right. In fact, our V-cycle uses only simple uniform grid operations and highly structured transfer operations. Here we compare the convergence of our multigrid preconditioner with an incomplete Cholesky preconditioner on an adaptive test problem. Our solver compares very favorably to other preconditioned Krylov methods, not only in terms of convergence, but also in terms of storage, factorization overhead, and total runtime cost. We also demonstrate how our solver performs given a random initial guess as input. We supplement our simulation pipeline with a novel advection scheme. Here, for varying CFL number, we compare our interpolation, which applies a cell-centered correction, against standard interpolation from nodes. Our method is not only less diffusive, but it also does not get significantly worse with smaller time steps. We also propose an averaging scheme that reduces artifacts at level transitions. The standard solution produces clear increasing artifacts, whereas our scheme is free of artifacts. We demonstrate the efficacy of our methods on a number of end-to-end adaptive smoke simulations. In this example, smoke is injected from below, past a sphere. We highlight the nature of our adaptive topology with a cross-sectional view of the grid. When compared to a uniform simulation with a comparable number of total active cells, the adaptive domain offers much more interesting detail. Here the sphere is a source of smoke, radially emitting smoke outwards. In later frames, the sphere stops emitting smoke. We place more resolution closest to the sphere, producing the high level of detail near the sphere. This example demonstrates the ability of our method to handle complex geometries. We compare MGPCG to ICPCG on the same example, where the overall runtime cost for both is similar. We observe that when ICPCG is used as the solver, the outflow from the entire ensemble as well as the flow through the narrow neck between the two vessels does not match what incompressibility dictates. In this example, we show smoke flow in a dynamically changing topology. The box outlines a region that is 4 times as refined as its surroundings. As expected, we see a decay in visual detail between the two regions, but our interpolation scheme makes level transitions practically devoid of any visual artifacts.